Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Indians episode in Allan Melville's Route. I didn't even get to read what that says, but that's fine. It always sneaks up on me when I'm doing my intro, and I always forget to read it usually. So I did sleep in between episodes. I just I just couldn't stay awake anymore. So my excited voice for the last episode, I'm sure is long gone anyway, but let's see. So it looks like she did become a fallen angel. So it's been several weeks has passed since we fell. We're going to start with the happy ending, of course, because that's what it takes us into. Thank you very much.
またのお越しをお待ちしております。
We're now helping out customers together at our pillow shop. After I fell, he came to the human realm and decided to do the pillow shop thing together. I figured it was a good idea since I'd become a demon myself. The human version and god version of myself has disappeared. I decided not to go back to college or back to my job at Cupid Corp. Instead, I just want to spend all my time with Allan. I'm like, what do you mean go back to college? And I forgot that she went back to college after she got reincarnated. Besides, if I went back to Cupid Corp, I'm sure I'd run into someone I know. I know, I mean, 20 years later too, can you imagine? If I ran into Mr. Snow, he'd definitely be surprised to see me looking so young. Speaking of Mr. Snow, he's like 53 or 52 now. He's so old. After all, it's been 28 long years since I vanished. Phew, sales were good today.
ああ、君がいてくれるおかげで男性客も増えたしね。
He touched my cheek and gave me a kiss. We're demons now, so we can kiss and make love as much as we want. Needless to say, we've been making the most of our time together. I don't know, I'm treating everyone the way I normally would.
わかってるよ。君はただの小悪魔なんだってことはさ。
That means she has to feed on male dreams, doesn't she? He chuckled and tapped my tiny tail. That's right, ever since I stopped being Cupid, I started growing a little demon tail. How adorable. I was curious to find out what kind of demon I'd become, so we went to the underworld, but it turns out I'd hardly changed at all. I still need to eat and sleep, and I don't need to feed on dreams or souls. I'm a demon for sure, but I'm also like a human. I guess that's good, because I don't think she would like that. Honestly, it was pretty unexpected. I prepared myself for the worst.
君とこの店で働けて嬉しいよ。この店は俺にとっても特別だからさ。
By the way, I always wondered why you decided to open a pillow store. Allan nodded his head curtly and looked around the store.
俺はただ譲り受けただけだよ。
They say like the owners left and never came back. Huh, inherited.
ここはもともと老婦人が一人でやっていたんだ。彼女は亡くなった夫を深く愛していてさ。彼女の夢は優しいいたわりに満ちていた。旦那との馴れ初めとか聞けるのが悪魔の仕事に疲れ切ってた俺には幸せでさ。騙したり裏切ったりして夢を食べるのはもううんざりだった。でも枕店にいればお客さんの夢をいくらでも食べられるだろ。それで手伝ったりしてるうちに仲良くなってさ。この店を任せてくれるようになったんだ。悪魔の俺がそれなりにまっとうに生きる道を見せてくれたのがこの店の元オーナー。だから俺はこの店を守りたかったんだ。
I see. The owner must be looking down on you from the heavens with a smile to hear you say that.
あ、いや、彼女はまだ生きてるよ。
She is. It's only natural to assume the owner must have died based on his story. While I stood there surprised, Allan just shrugged.
今は確かルワンダにいるんだっけな。旅行が趣味でさ。死ぬまでに世界中を見てみるって言ってたよ。定期的に連絡は取るけど、そういやもう10年近く会ってないな。
Yeah, basically, left and never returned. He sounds like a very energetic person.
だろ？ きっと君も会えば気に入ると思う。ちょっとだけ君と雰囲気似てるからさ。
Really?
ああ。だから君を恋人だってオーナーに紹介するのが楽しみだよ。オーナーは俺の人間界での親代わりだからさ。
You mean besides Clarice? Alan's face softened as he talked about her. Clarice raised him when he became a fallen angel and the owner who helped him out when he was human. He's always surrounded himself with kindness. I'm sure it's because he held on to his warm, caring heart even after he fell. Then we need to make this story an even better success so we can surprise her whenever she comes back.
ああ、そうだな。今は君もいるし、きっと。
You know, he's fulfilled his purpose and he can live happy.
すみません。恋結びの枕が売ってるのって、このお店ですか？
Matchmaking pillows. The door opened and a new customer stepped through.
ああ、そうだよ。今日はどんなお悩みを？
実は、私の好きな人が奥手で、なかなか告白してくれなくって。
OK。じゃあ、リネット。続きを頼めるかな？
It would be my pleasure. Oh my goodness. I unleashed my demonic power and took a good look at the customer. Actually, when I went from Cupid to Demon, I gained a new ability. I'm able to see if a person's romantic desires will come true. Basically, Pillow Luxuria has become kind of a pillow store slash fortune teller. Wasn't there another demon that could do something similar? Fulfur, I think it was called. I looked up info about demons earlier, and it mentioned a demon that helps facilitate matchmaking between men and women. It sounded a lot like Cupid, even though it's a demon. Maybe it was another Cupid that fell and became a demon. Lucifer, Belial, Azazel. There are plenty of examples of angels that fell and became demons. But I don't see any problem with me becoming a demon too. A former Cupid doing matchmaking and a former angel becoming an incubus and selling pillows. It seems fine to me, of course. Ah, I can see it clearly. Your love is going to work out, no doubt.
本当ですか？
I'm sure of it, but the key is that you'll have to confess your love to him.
相手から告白してもらえないんですか？
I'm afraid not, but the person you like really is in love with you, so I'm sure you'll be fine.
でも、私告白されてみたいし。
Well, if it's really important to you, try giving him this pillow. He'll confess his love to you the next day, guaranteed.
本当ですか？じゃあ、この枕買います。
I don't think I would believe that, though.
お買い上げありがとうございます。
I was gonna say something, I forgot. Oh. So she works at Allan's pillow store, not very far from her job, in the same city where all the other parasites were. That seems pretty risky to me. I let Allan handle the cell from there while I gazed at the pillow. Part of the matchmaking demon's power is being able to put a spell on things. If someone uses this pillow, I can control their dreams. Actually, I learned about it from Allan. He's been a greater demon for so long, he's learned all kinds of little tricks. You who sleeps with this pillow, I beseech you to confess your love to your friend. May you find success and happiness. Okay, that should do it. As long as she actually gives it to the person she loves, I'm 100% sure everything will be okay. This is how Pillow Luxuria has recently earned its reputation as the matchmaking pillow store.
じゃあ、ありがとうございました。うまくいったら報告に来ます。
Great, we'll be waiting. Ew.
お疲れ。大丈夫？
Oh, yeah.
でも疲れた顔をしてるな。ほらおいで。力を分けてあげるから。
Allan pulled me close and kissed me. His power flowed into me through his lips and his tongue. I could feel myself getting warmer and brighter. Greater demons really are amazing. The same kiss that took away my powers as a god is now giving me all the strength that I need. Thank you, Allan. Even as I said that, he brought his face close to mine again.
まずいな。
What do you mean you don't know what to do? Hmm?
君が可愛すぎて欲しくなってきた。
Right now, in the middle of store hours. Whispering oh so sweet and low, he pushed me back against the counter. And the store's not even closed yet.
じゃあもう閉店にするよ。
Just gonna go flip over that sign. Allan waved his hand and the door closed and locked itself. A sign flipped from open to closed. Oh, well, that's convenient, isn't it? Like I said, greater demons really are amazing. It seems like demons really can't do anything. I'm having a hard time telling the difference between them and gods. Actually, I've been wondering about that for a while. It seems like gods and demons are basically the same thing. We covered that concept in college too. As the major religions emerged, the gods of other ethnic groups were treated as demons. Maybe that's all this is. Gods and demons are both born from angels, so maybe there really isn't a meaningful difference. I became Cupid, Allan became an incubus, but now we are here both demons.
リネット。
Huh? He suddenly started kissing my neck. Then he started licking me and placing his hand all over my body. Wait, hold on, not in the store.
もうクローズしたよ。ダメなこと何もないだろ。
You need to go upstairs where there's no windows. We still need to clean up and... He brushed my tail with his fingertips. I let out a small moan. Is her tail like visible to humans? Probably not, but still. He's got an easy way to flirt with her, pull her tail. That's not fair. One thing that's changed since becoming a demon is I have more weaknesses now, like a tail.
ああ、ごめんごめん。ここ弱かったんだっけ？
Oh, he already knows this. Don't act like you didn't know.
知ってるよ。君がバカっていう時は喜んでるってことはさ。
Laughing softly to himself, he continued to lower my defenses with his experienced hands. It really isn't fair. Even back when we were in heaven, I could never resist him when he made that happy face. But we did it in our dreams last night, right?
夢の中は夢の中さ。生身の君にはかなわない。
He kissed me sweetly, which just made me want him even more. He's so cruel. He knows how much I love him, and he knows how much I love this kind of approach. I knew I'd never be a match for him because my opponent was the man that I loved. We kissed and stared into each other's eyes. It was the same act as centuries ago, but filled with much more passion now.
ほら、カウンターに手をついて。
Centuries ago, is this your first time since you've been reincarnated? Allan, wait.
もう400年も待っただろう。
I guess it is. It was all I needed to satisfy my mind and body. It's not quite true that becoming a demon didn't change me. I'm far more aggressive now than when I was a god. Oh, really? We didn't need to hold back anymore. If anything, it gave us a reason to share our energy. And as a greater demon, Allan has plenty of energy. I didn't want to consume so much energy that I felt stuffed. He ran his fingers through my hair and we started making out like crazy. Another night together was drawing to a close. Oh my. It wasn't until much later that I finally felt relieved.
どう？気持ちよかった？
Don't ask. Allan was lying next to me. I smacked him, then lay my head on his chest. I basically read my mind, so he didn't have to ask. That was just his way of teasing me. Don't act like you don't know, sheesh.
でも、君の言葉で聞きたいんだよ。それに俺ばっか夢中になってないかって不安だし。
Really?
夢と違って余裕がないんだ。
He has more experience in dreams. Allan mumbled that and started to blush. It was enough to put me back in a good mood. If that's all it is, you have nothing to worry about. I did enjoy it. Quite a lot, actually.
本当?
I'm sure. I nodded against his chest. In response, Allan popped me suddenly like an excited puppy that popped you.
じゃあもう一回。
Oh my goodness. No, we haven't had dinner yet. He does have lots of energy, doesn't he?
あれだけ俺の力を注いだのに?
Smirking, Allan took my chin in his hand and kissed me.
ほら、これで夕飯なんていらないだろ。
He's like, I already fed you. Another sweet kiss, or in Allan's words, a sour one. A kiss filled with the power of a demon, sweet as syrup. Oh, it's going to be morning before we know it if we keep going like this. Oh, I seriously was hungry. I could feel my stomach starting to growl. You have to fill her with sustenance. I might be a demon, but I still have to eat. I gave Allan my angriest glare, and he finally let me go.
そうだった。君は悪魔になっても食事が必要なんだったね。
I don't know. I probably would have put off breakfast a little bit longer. He pretended like he forgot, but we both knew that he didn't. What a terrible demon.
じゃ、今作ってくるよ。君はそこで休んでて。
He patted my head and then went to the kitchen, just like he did when we were a couple for those 30 days. But the big difference is now we're actually a true couple. I'm so filled with joy right now. I laid in bed and just watched Allan working in the kitchen. Obviously, since he only needs to feed on dreams, he was only making enough food for me. I just realized, am I going to dream about what we just did too? Imagining what my dream might look like tonight, my face started to get hot. Even now, Allan still feasted on my dreams. Since I used to be Cupid, my dreams still taste sweet even after turning into a demon. Maybe it's because we used to be a matched pair of angels that we match so well now. Anyway, he doesn't have to feed on customers anymore. My dreams seem to be enough for him. So he cooks for me and I provide him a meal in return. I'm happy with our arrangement, of course, but I get so nervous, both in my dreams and in real life, that it's kind of hard. In my dream or in reality, Allan is the one I love, so I'm sure he'll desire me forever and ever. And even when I sleep, I feel like I don't get any rest at all. Still, I'm glad because I got to become a demon just like him. The savory smell wafted from the kitchen. Allan's cooking was already improved so much from before. Lately, he's been making all my favorite meals. So I guess it's okay. He can feed on me as much as he wants. Maybe this is my chance to teach him the real difference between sweet and sour. But the dreams have been pretty hard lately. Allan's been showing me all these places I can't go in real life. Maybe it has been hard. Hard experiencing it? Yesterday he took me deep underwater, and the day before we were way up in the clouds. If he keeps talking about how sweet and amazing everything is, that's just going to make things even harder. I might get too nervous and my heart might just explode. Okay. Learning about what your lover likes when it comes to sex and food is pretty embarrassing. Food? I don't know about food. But even for an incubus, taking time to prepare your meal and get the right flavor must be important too. Okay then, I'll forget the whole sweet versus sour thing for now.
お待たせ。ご飯食べよ。
Okay. I got dressed and walked over to the table. He'd made me a huge steak. Yay, this is exactly what I was in the mood for. Steak for
だろうなっ
breakfast.
て思ってさ。前にも言ってたし。
I did?
デートした時に言ってただろ。ハンバーガーにフライドチキン、ステーキが食べたいってさ。
That's so adorable. During our date, like it was yesterday, but it was 20 years ago. Oh, okay, the beach date. I thought it was after they had like tapioca or something. I don't remember. He's like, you want something with sustenance, don't you? Like hamburgers or fried chicken or a nice thick steak sounds good too, don't you think? I wasn't wrong, that definitely did happen. But that was over 20 years ago. Okay, so I am right. And he still remembered. A lover who remembers every little thing and makes all my dreams come true. As I enjoyed my steak, I thought about the fact that we'd be together forever, and that made me even happier. Sorry if my voice is a little raspy today. I feel like it is. I had to go get a drink to help try to keep it clear. A few days later, Little Luxuria was closed for the day, so we headed to Right Skirt Beach. We'd be talking, and we both decided we wanted to go again. It's so beautiful here. Hand in hand, we walked down onto the beach. The beach at sunset. I missed this.
展開によく似てるもんな。
Yeah. It brings back a lot of memories. The place where Allan and I were born and lived for so long. Since we can never go back, my memories are bittersweet.
君は本当にあそこが好きだったよね。毎日空を見上げて、今日は昨日よりも綺麗だなんて顔しててさ。
What? How did you know what I was thinking?
君の顔は分かりやすいから当然だろ。それでほら、空に見とれすぎて転んだこともあった。羽があるのにさ。
I thought there was no language, so all that you do have is your thoughts. Don't remind me.
君のことは全部覚えてるよ。君が俺の羽をむしって遊んでたことも。
Oh, how rude. What? I seriously did that?
あったよ。俺の羽を頭に刺して、人間界的に言うとインディアンごっこかな。そんなことまでしてたんだから。
It makes me sound like I was a total airhead back then. Still, we couldn't talk, so I would probably just try my best to communicate. I wanted to make him laugh and share my happiness with him. I do remember trying really hard.
懐かしいな。あの頃は毎日君を喜ばせようって必死になってたと思う。それで君があれやりたいって顔をした時に、俺は手を尽くして叶えようって思ったんだ。
They even had that in heaven. That?
結婚式ごっこだよ。
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that shows you where my mind goes. Have a pretend wedding, right? A pretend wedding. That was my favorite game to play back when we were in heaven. Allan grabbed my hand and started running.
だからさ、今日も久しぶりに結婚式ごっこをやろうよ。
Oh, that's adorable. Okay. I was so happy to see his innocent face. I couldn't resist putting on a wedding with him for the first time in forever. This is going to be a cute CG. Just like we used to do back in heaven. As an angel, I had assisted the current Cupid a few times, so I learned how to imitate the bride and groom. Abandoning our normal conversation, we started acting out the wedding with gestures alone. Holding hands and nodding to each other as if we were making lifelong promises to each other. Pretending to lift the veil, then meeting for a gentle kiss. And then a ring made of flowers. Huh? Does he have one? Oh. He gave her a real one. When we were in heaven, my ring was always made of flower petals, but now I felt something hard and cool. What was the sensation? Could it be Allan? What? There was an actual ring on my finger. The gem glittered in the setting sun.
婚約指輪受け取ってくれる？
That was such a sly way of proposing. I love it so much. To say I was surprised would be an understatement. While I stood there stunned, Allan's face opened up into a huge grin.
ごっこじゃなくてさ、俺と本当に結婚してほしいんだ。君と夫婦になりたいんだよ。
Husband and wife, a ceremony in which two people, once strangers, become family, blessed by Juno, goddess of marriage, who no longer exists. So Jupiter's gonna have to find another wife real quick. A relationship leading into the future, supported by Cupid, the goddess of love.
確約が欲しいんだ。今俺たちは 人間の世界で生きてるから。君を俺の奥さんだって出会う人みんなに伝えたい。
Are you sure about this? The fact is, I'm not human, which means I can't receive the God's blessings. Is there any way for me to be forgiven? Can I actually enter into marriage even though I'm a demon? Allan nodded as if he knew all the questions I wanted to ask.
言っただろ。君を人間として幸せにしたいって。それでも君が人間として生きることが、人間として幸せになってくれることが俺の望みだったんだ。
That's true. That's something he told me over and over again. He's the one who yelled and shouted and did everything he could to make me happy. When we spent over a century together, and when we were separated for another 4 centuries, and when I nearly disappeared, and even for those 20 years after I reincarnated, for all this time.
俺が打点させちゃったからそれは叶わないけれど、君を幸せにしたい気持ちは変わらない。
I don't know if I would call it seduced. She kind of willingly became a demon. It was kind of on her mind as well.
人間とも神とも変わらない幸せを。それ以上に君を幸せにしたいんだ。今度は俺も一緒に。
Allan, I was so happy to hear him talk about us being together instead of just my happiness.
俺こそ許してくれる？君と本物の家族になることをさ。
Even before he asked, I already knew my answer. I was already overflowing with tears of joy. Allan, of course. Allan, please let me be your wife.
俺を君の旦那さんにしてください。
This was something I pretended to say so many times in heaven, imagining how I'd say it in real life.
正解だったんだ。
I guess so. I held his hands and looked up into the sky. Slowly I closed my eyes. I felt the soft caress of his lips. The kiss was different from any other. It was sincere and nervous. A completely pure sensation. It lacked all of his normal demonic power. We each touched the rings on our fingers.
今度こそ本当にずっと一緒だよ。
You're right. Nothing can take that away. We could keep repeating our human lives over and over again. Because we're demons, and demons have no concept of life expectancy. It's possible we might disappear if we somehow use up all of our power, but we have no duties like the gods, so we can just live however we want, which meant we could live even longer than them.
幸せになろう。何年も何百年もずっと一緒にいて、本物の家族になって君の望みをこれからも叶えていきたい。
And I want to make yours come true too. Because we both want each other to be happy, and because of that our happiness can go on into eternity.
愛しているよ、リネット。
I love you too, Allan. We whispered our feelings to each other, and he lifted me into the air, just like he did when we were in the ocean. Just like he did when we were angels. And like when we were angels, we held hands and kissed as if it was the first time. With dreams of laughing and loving as we were back in heaven. We kissed again and prayed to the gods despite our demonic nature. Once upon a time, a certain pair of demons found happiness in a rare land. Could we perhaps weave such a myth?
もう二度とこの手を離さない。
And I'll always hold on to you. Hands that had been separated so many times before came together again, and we kissed, wishing for a bright future. And we promised each other that we'll always be together. It was the sweetest proposal I have ever read. I loved it so much. Alright, now we get to go through all the other endings. Yay! So we're going to load save file
ロー
1,
ドするのか。ああ、構わない。どの瞬間でも
which is 3.
私は SS だからな。
Facing him close, I look up and secretly beg him for a kiss. And we're going to stare at him. We're going to make him read our thoughts. I stare into his red eyes as if I want him to notice me.
なに物欲しそうな目してるの
Well, that is...
そんな目をされたら見つめ返すのに夢中になってキスできないよ。して欲しいんだろ。ならおねだりしてごらん。
Whispering sweetly, Allan traces my chin with his finger. He knows what I want, but he still wants me to voice it aloud. Such a sly demon. I know he's just toying with me, but I have to oblige him. Can you kiss me, my sweet demon? I love all the playful talk too. When I asked in a small voice, he chuckled and gave me a light kiss.
悪魔さんね。でも同僚に見られるかもしれない状況で抱きついてくる君も悪魔かもよ。
You're the only demon around here, Allan. Let's go to Happy Forest Cafe for dinner. I think you'd enjoy their menu.
へえ、そうなんだ。楽しみだな。でも
Holding my hand, Allan smiles innocently.
マイハニーと食べられるならどこでも美味しいよ。
That was adorable. My living week spent with Allan went by without incident.
ウィンナーコーヒーっててっきり上にソーセージが乗ってるのかと思ってたけどクリームなんだな。これも酸味がいい感じだ。
Is this where he tells her that? It mentioned that he's the one that sent it to someone in the past, but I didn't think we would actually see it in game. That's funny. Allan was learning more and more types of dishes and cuisines. Thanks to this relationship, I was improving as a bridal advisor and he was able to feed off of my tasty dreams.
そんな慌てて食べなくても料理は逃げないよ。ほら、口の周りについてる。
I think you've already seen this now, so... Oh, that's all I wanted.
ないで。
Okay, this is after she's been reincarnated. And we're going to hand over the menu. Oh, here's the drink menu.
ああ、ありがとう。じゃあ、ウィンナーコーヒーで。
After I placed the order, Guilty sat down in front of me with a slight smile. The drinks had arrived and pulled out the gift I had brought. I think we can skip to the next one now.
海、どうだった？怖くなくなった？
The gentle tone of voice told me how kind Guilty really was. I'm gonna say it wasn't scary. No, it wasn't scary, thanks to you, Guilty. I probably didn't get a leg cramp or didn't get grabbed into the water thanks to him. See if we can skip. Okay, we're gonna skip into the normal end now. Etcher and Lost York, so this is the normal end right here. Which means I don't even think Jupiter's going to take her back, is he? Because this is where Jupiter interfered. Right after she figured out who he was. Guilty and I managed to land in Greece. He just saved her from the Sabbath, by the way, as she got sucked in and he rescued her there. We're back. I felt a sudden wave of relief and I collapsed onto the ground.
ここまで来れば大丈夫か？
Guilty let out a sigh and looked at me. I took in his current appearance. Black horns with strange patterns. a huge wing and a long tail, and cold, ominous eyes. This is guilty, right? I had to believe it was, but when I looked at him straight on, it was hard to believe it. After all, who could imagine that their close friend could turn into a demon? Just then I felt something cool and stiff on my neck, the necklace. The necklace is still here? I thought I had felt it fall away a second ago. As I stood there stunned by everything that was going on around me, his apparent demon smiled softly. And then he hugged me.
大丈夫。こうすればもう二度と思い出さなくなるから。
Is he gonna make her forget in this one? Huh? At that moment, a strange light also embraced me. A foreboding but alluring red light. It shined the same color as his eyes. I'll forget what?
もう二度と君のそのネックレスは見えなくなる。完全に封じてあげるから。
Jillian pressed his lips against my forehead. I felt like something inside me made a sound and then left me. I have no idea what it might have been, but all of a sudden I understood completely that it would never return.
完了だね。
He gave me a cold smile and gently stroked the back of my neck. As he touched me, I realized that the necklace I was wearing was gone. Huh? Necklace? What necklace? I felt confused while Guilty just stood there looking at me anxiously. I smiled back at him to convince him everything was fine. He replied by speaking with a thoughtful expression.
一つだけ聞きたいんだけれど。アラン・メルヴィルって名前に聞き覚えはある？
Allan Melville. I've never heard it before. I shook my head. Sorry, I can't say that I do.
そうか。ならいいんだ。君を惑わす悪い存在の名前だから。忘れた方がいい。
Is the normal ending not going to have them two together? I think he's trying to separate himself from her. With that, he spread his singular wing wide. He was planning to go somewhere far away. Before I realized what I was doing, I grabbed his arm. Wait. He might be planning on separating himself. I think she still likes you. I don't think you erased that feeling. Please wait. You're guilty, right? When I said that name, his face twisted. It looked like he was about to cry. Or maybe not. Maybe that was just his way of smiling. It was as if whatever tension he was holding fell away, as if he just completed a long journey.
そうだね。俺はギルティだ。
Is his name going to be guilty in this ending? He said it clearly as if to make sure there was no confusion. Without warning, he snapped his fingers. And the demon in front of me transformed into guilty, as if a curtain had been dropped. So you are guilty, I knew it. Have you been a demon all along?
ああ、そうだよ。君があまりに悪魔好みの人間だったからね。見守らせてもらったんだ。
I thought the normal ending might be when they can be forgiven and go back to heaven, but I never thought that the normal ending would have them not having the same memory and the same connection they did as angels. We'll have to see how this one turns out, I guess.
君みたいな子は悪魔に狙われるからね。だからお守りをつけておいた。
I still don't understand why he doesn't want him to remember about their angel life. What's so bad about it? He poked my wrist. A bracelet? Wait, this is from you? I thought it broke. He just smiled at me knowingly. That was all the answer I needed. I was sure I recognized that smile. Maybe from childhood. Okay, she still has some memories, I guess. There was someone who always stood by me, so that I was never afraid. Someone who made sure I was always comfortable.
ほら、こちらへおいで。その森の中には行っちゃダメだ。
Okay, so she's remembering the guardian demon part of him. not
怖
angel.
くないよ。もうあれは追い払った。俺がそばにいるから安心してお眠り。いいかい。このブレスレットは外しちゃダメだ。寝るときもずっとつけておくんだ。ずっと必ずこれが君を守るからね。
The voice I heard when I wanted to go into the forest, and the voice when I cried myself to sleep, that was you, Guilty. Always, you were always there watching over me, ever since I was a child.
覚えていたんだ。君はまだ小さかったと思ったんだけどな。
Maybe, but I still remember. I remember there was always someone there when I was scared, when I was crying. Guilty. I took his hand and looked up at him. When you saved me at the pool, it brought back so many memories. Since then, I haven't stopped thinking about you. I can't explain why, but I think it's because you protected me from those other demons. He didn't say a word. He just looked at me. He seemed exhausted, as if he'd been dealing with a troublesome child, and took a step back. He looked like he wanted to escape, so I ran up to him in desperation. Please, Guilty, don't leave me. After I grabbed onto him, he didn't say anything. For some reason, he seemed like he was trying to avoid me, despite the fact that he'd been protecting me all this time.
俺は悪魔だよ。人間の君のそばにはいられない。
But I love you.
君には普通の人と人生を歩む方が似合っている。悪魔なんかに惑わされちゃダメだ。俺のことは忘れて人間と幸せになるんだ。
But I don't want to live without you. How could I forget you? I want to be with you forever. At this point, how could I just forget him and go on with my life?
君は神話を研究しているんだろう。俺が悪魔だって知って怖くないの？君の魂を狙ってる悪い悪魔かもしれない。
If you did, you probably would have done it when she was a helpless infant. I don't care. I don't want to let go of you ever again.
なんで？
How can I ever feel at ease again without you? As soon as I said it, I knew that was my honest feeling. I couldn't imagine feeling the same way with anyone else. This was my first time in my life that I felt such a desperate need to be with someone else. Please, Guilty, don't go. I ran up to him and embraced him, and he faltered. It seems kind of weird coming from the perspective that this demon's been watching over you since you were a child. You think harbors feelings for you, but it's kind of creepy since he's been watching over you since you were a baby. She has no memories of him, but she's just in love with the demon at first sight. But I know it's their angel connection, their like soulmate connection from way back when, but still it's, I don't know. I don't like her having no memories of that life, but whatever. Eventually he tentatively hugged me back.
困った子だな。
If you've been watching me since I was young, then you know I'm selfish, right?
そうだね。一度言い出したら聞かない子だってこともね。俺は我慢しようと思ってたのに。でももう平気なはずだ。許してくれるだろう。
It's fine. She's a human now, so you can kiss her. He seemed to be talking to himself. Suddenly he snapped his fingers. Without warning, he turned back into his demon form.
この姿を見ても好きだって言える。
Of course.
これが俺の本来の姿。そして 君以外の人間には見えない。
She'll just be the crazy person who always talks to herself. Nobody?
ああ。こうして俺と話している君は、他人の目からは一人で喋っているように見えているはずだ。そんな男と幸せになりたい。
Yeah, we'll just be the crazy mythology lover who talks to demons. Yes, absolutely. I don't care if people think I'm talking to myself.
俺がひどい罪ばかり犯してきた悪い悪魔でも。
He's trying this all over again. Whatever that means, losing you would be worse. He's been with me since childhood. He disappeared once. I didn't want to let him go again. Since I was young, there's always been some place I've wanted to return to. I've never known what that meant, but it's probably you. I don't want to let you go. I looked at him straight in the eye when I said that. Apparently that was enough.
降参だ。まあ、あれを施したから、もう大丈夫だろうしね。
I know. Who's the one seducing who now? What do you mean it?
いや、こっちの話。でも、人間が好きになったら、遠慮なく言っていいからね。
He said, feel free to let me know. What? Why would you say something like that? I'll never love anyone but you, Guilty.
はいはい。Guilty.
You're gonna tell her your real name? He muttered softly to himself and embraced me. His warm scent took me back to a time when he was there by my side. Finally, I had a memory to go back to, and I wasn't about to let it go.
Guilty. 有罪なのは俺なのか彼女なのか。罪の名のもとに偽物の舞台が幕を開ける。果たしてどちらが心にとって高貴なことなのだろう。暴虐な運命の投げつける石や矢を耐え忍ぶことと、それとも寄せ来る怒涛の苦難に対して武器を取り燦然と対峙し終止符を打つのと。
That's when I started to live with Guilty. Him a demon and me a simple college student in Lost York. He taught me so much about what demons actually were. He told me how they don't need to eat like humans and how sometimes they didn't want to eat at all to avoid getting fat. He also told me how hard it was maintaining a human form all the time and how it was a pain explaining why he was always around me. And I learned that since demons don't age, the physical forms don't age either. Finally, he told me that if I kept spending time with a demon, I wouldn't be able to receive the blessings of the gods. But I wanted to stay with him anyway because I loved him. And then you're going to die and leave him all alone. But I guess that's what he wanted, right? You to be a human.
であるからにして、この一文からは悪魔が当初神のように扱われていたことがわかり。
Guilty and I were in class together as usual. He's just hanging out with her. Today's lecture was focused on mythology, specifically focused on demons.
へえ、神のように扱われるか。人間って面白いこと考えるんだね。
Floating right behind me, Guilty lifted up my book and flipped it over. Hey, come on, not again.
し、声出したら怪しまれるよ。今俺の姿は君にしか見えないんだから。
You're gonna make stuff float around her. That's gonna seem strange too. I know you're right, but a book flipping over by itself is pretty suspicious. Why don't you just come down here in your human form? I whispered it quiet enough so nobody else would hear, but he just laughed.
人型になったら大学の講義に潜り込めないだろ。その上こうして君にずっと張り付いている言い訳も考えなきゃならない。それに。
He moved closer and kissed me on the cheek.
こうやって キスもできないだろ。
Now you're playing dirty. As his lips softly touched my cheek, I started to blush. The sound of the kiss lingered in my ears.
どうしたの？顔真っ赤だけど大丈夫？
That's not fair. Huh? Oh, I'm fine. Giles shot me a suspicious glance, but after a second he faced forward again. I glared at the demon sitting behind me, making sure Gao wasn't paying attention. Guilty? Seriously, I told you not to do this during class.
君が可愛すぎるのがいけないんだ。
He chuckled and patted my head. The demon who has stood by my side since childhood, there was no doubt he was my boyfriend now. He took advantage of the fact that he was invisible and came with me to class every single day.
それで今日の講義後はどうする？
I really wanted to go to that new ice cream place on 7th Avenue. Instead of saying it out loud, I gotten used to writing things down in my notebook. All of our conversations were in writing.
アイスか。いいね。じゃあ、たまには俺も人型になろうか。
I thought about that. I wrote in my notebook again. You don't have to. It's hard on you, right?
でも、一人でアイス食べるのは嫌だろ？
I mean, I guess there's perks to having an invisible boyfriend, but can you feel him or just see him? Because if you can't feel him, then I would want you in person. As how he showed he cared about me, I knew how exhausting it was for him to try to keep up his human form. I also remember that he told me how demons don't have the same sense of taste as humans. I can't get over what a sweet demon he is. He always indulges me. Those pleasant feelings in mind, I picked up my pen again. I'm never alone because you're always there with me. So since you're not human, eating a lot will make you fat, right? I glanced at guilty and poked his stomach. You've been eating too much with me around lately. You need to go back to being a demon, so I guess you can't touch him.
そっか。ま、太って君に愛想つかされたら嫌だからな。
I don't care if you look completely different. Girls will come chasing after you no matter what, so... To be honest, that's not really the reason I want to keep him in his demon form. As a human, Guilty is so handsome and so wise. Every Lost Yorker looking for love comes to talk to him. I know how eager college students are. I'm just afraid another young girl will come along and take him. I would never say that to him, of course. I keep that to myself. You've been his soulmate for 400 years. He's not gonna leave you. Of course, you don't know that, but...
可愛い顔してるね。恋する女の子の顔だ。
His voice came into my ear from directly behind me. I wanted to cry out, but he quickly put a hand over my mouth.
今は授業中だよ、マイハニ
Don't whisper into my ear like that. That's what I wanted to say, but since he was holding my mouth, I could only glare at him.
ー。可愛い顔だ。
He has way too much fun with this. I know this isn't your real intention. If I fail this class, Guilty, it's your fault. He saw me write that in my notebook, and he flapped his wing.
確かにまたレポート提出前徹夜に付き合わされたら大変だ。じゃあ悪い悪魔はおとなしく寝てるよ。君の膝枕でね。
I go to sleep on your lap. What? Before I could do anything, he laid himself across the classroom chairs, and of course his head was in my lap.
やっぱり寝るなら君の膝が一番だ。おやすみ、マイハニー。
He let out an honest to God's yawn and went to sleep. Come on, how am I supposed to focus? Still, I couldn't deny that it made me happy, so I left everything as it was. As I listened to the lecture, I absentmindedly stroked Guilty's head. My boyfriend insisted on calling himself a bad demon. He's so possessive, so spoiled, a far sight from the mature version of himself he used to be. Yeah, he just got used to teasing you all the time. Anyway, on the way home, we went to 7th Avenue. We spotted an ice cream shop where we bought salted caramel ice cream. We enjoyed it as we walked down the street.
ほんと君は美味しそうに食べるね。
That's because it's really delicious. I'm glad we came here. A date with Guilty. Of course, everyone else thinks I'm just out here window shopping by myself. Enjoying my ice cream, I stare into the display window at a particularly cute outfit. Oh, Guilty, look, that lamp is so cute.
どれ?
Is it the eagle lamp or whatever from 20 years ago? The one shaped like an eagle. When I pointed it out, I noticed Guilty letting out a particularly long sigh.
ああ。確かに可愛いね。でもこれ以上部屋にライトを置いたら眩しくて眠れないよ。
Back then it was she wouldn't be able to fall asleep. Oh, I guess that's true. It really was cute, but Guilty had a point.
それよりそろそろ新しいワンピースが欲しいって言ってただろ? どういうのがいいの?
Oh, right. I looked around and my attention was quickly drawn to the display window of another shop. Oh, that one is really pretty. What do you think? Is it a good match? Pointed out a red dress I noticed, but Guilty seemed hesitant.
あれ? 君にはまだ大人っぽいんじゃないの?
Dare you? You're calling her a child? Huh? No, I don't think so. Honestly, I did think it was too mature for me, but it seemed like something he would like, and I wanted that for him. Of course I couldn't say that to him directly. It felt too childish. Well then, what about this one? I looked back at him and it was clear he wasn't paying attention. His eyes were focused on something. Was he looking for another delicious dream? Oh, is his eyes focused on you? But I'm his girlfriend. Annoyed, I yanked his hand, then I shoved our ice cream right in front of his face. Oh, he wasn't even looking at you? Yeah, I think I do the same thing too. Here, eat up. When I did that, he looked puzzled and then completely confused.
あのね、君。今の俺の姿が人に見えてないって分かってる?
Yeah, so his lower half is just all covered in fur. That's interesting. She still has the same outfit that she's worn as a human for like, I don't know, the last 26 years she's been a human. But whatever. Yeah, sure, but you ignoring me is worse than other people thinking I'm some kind of weirdo.
いつでも君を見てるだろ?
But I just caught you looking at another woman.
ああ。それは君に似合う服を探してたんだよ。
Don't you dare look at someone else. Huh? Plus that might suit me. I looked to where Guilty was pointing and I saw a woman built exactly like me.
あんな服とか似合いそうだろ? だから見てただけ。別に夢を狙ってたわけじゃないよ。
Are you sure?
ほんとさ。
Then, can you try giving me a little attention? Honestly, this wasn't the place to tell him how I felt, but I just wanted him to kiss me. Guilty chuckled at my modest request.
今日は随分と甘えん坊なんだな。
She's jealous. What do you expect? Maybe, but whenever I was with Guilty, I was worried that I was acting too childish. He was always looking into the distance like a proper adult. I felt like he might leave me and go somewhere else. I was stood frozen in place, so he came up and kissed me.
構ってじゃなくて、キスしてだろ?
He licked his lips and looked me right in the eye. It's not fair. Even when I don't say what I'm thinking, he gives me exactly what I want. Maybe it's not fair. I wish my husband could read my mind. People are looking at us.
俺の姿は他人からは見えないって言っただろ?
Yeah, it just looks like you're kissing thin air. He kissed again and Guilty licked his lips.
うまいね。塩キャラメルアイス。
Oh my goodness. He has way too much fun. Wait, I want to try this part. What?
Shh.
When I shouted out, he put his fingers to my lips.
大声出したら変に思われるだろ?
But you...
そうだね。ちょっといたずらが過ぎたみたいだ。
I know, why did you become a human and give her attention like a real man? Guilty glanced around, then gently let me go. Then he looked at me in the eye, clearly anxious.
ね、リネット。本当に俺でいいの？
All of a sudden, he lowered his voice as if he wanted to make sure we were alone.
ガイルとかオースティンといれば一緒の時を歩めるんだよ。こうして他人の目を気にする必要もない。
Maybe, but you're the only one I care about, Guilty. I'm only happy when I'm with you. Even if people look at me strange, I've never been happier than when I'm talking with you. I smiled and handed the ice cream back to him. So here you go, enjoy your ice cream. I want to share this flavor with you.
まったく。幸せになってほしいっていう人の気も知らないで。
You're gonna make him hold the ice cream because it's gonna be floating, right?
それに甘える俺も大概か。
Guilty sighed softly and revealed a gentle smile.
じゃあ一口もらおうかな。
Good, here you go. He bit into the ice cream and smiled sweetly.
おいしいね。酸っぱい。
Yeah, right? I knew you'd say that, Guilty. As usual, when he tastes something sweet, he describes it as sour. It's probably a demon thing, but I still find it endearing. Good, then have some more. Then let's go have some bubble tea. You love that, right?
そんな話君にしたっけ？
Did you? Or does she just remember? Of course. Wait, when did you say that? I don't remember, but I know that I love that texture, so let's go. Pretty please? I tried to look into his eyes, but he seemed to be looking somewhere far away, as if he was remembering another time, but he still looked so kind.
そうだね。後でバブルティー飲みに行こうか。
Even if you steal away her memories, they're destined to come back. Great, then I'll make sure not to eat anything until then.
いいね、君は本当に俺を甘やかす天才だね。君の幸せを望んでいるのに、もう君なしじゃ生きられない。
Oh, that was cute. That's good enough, right?
本当。君は俺を惑わす悪魔だよ。
He smiled calmly as if he'd made peace with something.
俺はずっとそばにいるよ。君が望まなくても多分一生ね。
We ate our ice cream and smiled at each other. I don't care if people think I'm weird, I've never been happier. Guilty, an invisible demon. I ate our ice cream as if I'd already accepted our sin together. I have 45 minutes to record 2 bad ends or 3 bad ends and 2 common root endings, so we'll see how that works. Usually the bad ends are quick. These 2 endings were really long. Like usually the endings are an hour by themselves or an hour and 15 minutes, but we've only been through 2 of the endings. So we're gonna load this one. And then we're just going to hand over the menu to him. And we've already seen this, so I'm going to skip. We saw this in this episode, so... I'm going to say it wasn't scary. Then we're going to remember the kiss with him. Then we're going to say, why do you look so sad? And I'm going to skip until the bad ending now. Okay, this is going to seem a little strange, but I think this might be a bad ending. I don't know how it could be. It's way different than the other endings. But it does this again. And it says it's the best match possible. And instead of going into the good ending, which was at the beginning of this episode. It says other things, and I just decided to go with it just to see where this took me, because I tried going through everything twice and trying to get the bad ending, but it kept saying this, and so I'm like, okay, well, what does it say? It does not say the same thing as in the beginning of this episode, so we're just going to read it. I held to his body tightly as we fell. Allan, if I said that you and I could both turn back into angels, what would you say? We can be together just like we were before. We can live in heaven in peace. With this divine artifact, we can turn back into angels. And since we're the ones that caused all this trouble in the first place, there's no way they'd ever choose us to become gods. So would you like to go back to the world where we used to live? I asked him that question, his eyes filled with tears. Then he smiled at me and spoke.
それが一番の望みだよ。
But I was fast forwarding it, and when I got to Jupiter, I'm like, wait, this is different. So I had to go back and reread it. So, trying to start from the beginning, I had the secret route pop up. It's like, do you want to read the secret route? I'm like, no, I just want to go through Allan's bad endings. Dang it. So hopefully that didn't trigger anything. I don't think it did, because it didn't say yes or no. I just went straight back to the title and reloaded what it told me to reload. And I played through it again, and I still got to this, so... I was standing there staring at Cupid's bow and Juno's divine artifact, both of which had returned. Since they came back, that means Cupid didn't become Juno and went somewhere else. But where could she have gone? I hope her soul didn't simply vanish. In order to see those final moments, I reached out and touched Juno's divine artifacts. That is all it took to understand everything.
そうか。天使の姿に戻ったか。
I closed my eyes and scanned all of heaven for them. There they were, two angels joined as one, just like before. Despite having their own minds, their own emotions, angels cannot speak. That must be awful for them. But still, the two of them looked so happy together. They were soaring all across heaven. When I realized I would never hear her voice again, I felt sadness, an emotion I had long forgotten. But I am the god of all gods. I cannot afford to let personal feelings get in the way of my duty. All that matters is what happens now. You felt sadness. What?
次のキューピッドとジュノーにふさわしい天使を探すように言わなければ。
I wonder if he had ulterior motives for wanting her to become Juno. Maybe that's his way of proposing to her. Just a thought. Maybe in the next route.
だが、二人が消滅しなくてよかった。
Aw, he's happy for both of them. He's so cute. I whispered that quietly to myself to ensure no other living soul would hear me. I don't want to hear your compassionate thoughts. Truth be told, I enjoyed watching the two of them those hundreds of years. They were filled with so much joy. I would watch them whenever I could, and their joy became my joy. They both cared for each other so much without ever sharing a single word. What kind of love would you call that? As the god of gods, the only love I've ever personally felt is that of family, a kind of fraternal love. Which is why I was so interested in the love between those two. Their innocence was adorable. As I watched them in heaven, it was like watching a little bird in a cage. And the fact that they're still alive makes me happy once again.
対の天使たち、すまなかった。どうか安らかな時を。
In fact, those two were the last angels to be born in pairs. On that fateful day, Mercury decided to change the way heaven operated. Since then, no angels have ever been split apart. All they have to occupy their time is to heed the commands of their gods. Oh, even Mercury has a soft spot for angels, to the point where he even changed the laws. After all, who could better understand the pain of those paired angels than the gods? If they had nobody to care for in the first place, then certainly their suffering would end. How is this a bad end? I don't understand. It's titled what is it titled? It's titled Silent Happiness, but it's labeled a bad end in the walkthrough. I don't think that's a bad end. I never got to see what the title of it was called, but Silent Happiness makes sense because they go back to being angels, never speaking again. So Silent Happiness, maybe that was the ending. And I'm like sitting her fretting over it, like anyway, so we're going to continue loading. But I'm really happy that we got that the extra bit of Jupiter. We got into some more insight of his thoughts. Now that I saw that, I really do think maybe I don't think he just wanted to replace Juno. I think he chose Cupid specifically for a reason. But anyway, enough about that. Let's go finish the rest of the route. So we're gonna load save file 3. I have it pulled up on the other screen. And what we remember is a night with him. I remember the ceiling of the room where we first slept together. That dark, gentle room. His name isn't Guilty. His real name is Allan. I called his name. He was aghast. We've already read that part. And we have one more choice, and then it goes into another bad end, but we'll see if it's really bad or not. And we're going to say, why did you help me? And I'm going to fast forward through it because I don't want to miss where the section titles off. Is it going to be bad love match now? That's usually what the last bad ending is. No, it's not. I don't understand. Maybe they're all best love matches. We'll see if this one's the same or not. Let's see what this section's called. Never going to let me go. If that one's the right one or not.
こうして彼女は打点した。
Okay. It is different. So, it is different. So no matter what you do, all the endings lead to the best love match for Allan. They just have different endings, and I don't think they're actually bad. The website I usually look at calls them bad endings, but the other website that I looked at calls them good endings 1, 2, and 3. So I don't think they're bad. So far we haven't had a bad ending, so we're just going to keep going, and we're going to read this one, because now this is from Allan's point of view. This is different.
打点した彼女は俺と同じ無魔になり、サキュバスとして人の夢を食らうようになった。純粋だった彼女を俺が怪我したんだ。
With my demon wing, we flew together and landed on a hotel rooftop. We sat on the roof looking for a meal. So, I mean, probably not quite as good as the other one, because instead of having a matchmaking pillow store, they're actually having to go and feed on humans together instead. Eventually, we sensed a couple sleeping in one of the upper floors. Allan, look, don't their dreams seem delicious?
はあ、いいね。じゃあ今日の夕ご飯はあれにしようか。
Great. We grasped each other's hands and entered the hotel window. I became a succubus, Allan is an incubus, so we basically become a couple. And our meal tonight is the dream of a couple in love. Every night we fly around Lost Ark looking for a similar meal. But since we're a couple, we don't want to eat our meals separately. So lately we've been trying to get into couples' dreams and devour them together. What do you call that? A menage a quartre? Anyway, it's just a dream, right? Today's meal was so delicious. After we ate their dreams, we retreat to the rooftop. The night's wind blows against our cheeks. It's so nice to do that with everyone. Allan lost in the dream, and the girlfriend the dreamer, me in the dream, and the boyfriend dreaming the dream. The four of us, so delicious, made more sweet with the spice of sin. Oh my goodness, it's so addictive.
悪魔らしいセリフだね。
I wonder what he thinks about all of this, because he didn't want this life for her, and she's sitting here talking like a demon, and he's like despised becoming a demon this whole time. Naturally, being a demon is so much fun. No god scold me like Dad did, and I don't have any quotas to meet. We can live freely, doing whatever we want. How fun is that?
すっかり悪魔の顔つきだな。
Allan looked at me with a feeling I've never seen before, as if he was feeling the weight of bringing a pure god down to his level. If that was the case, I wanted to make it clear how happy I was to be with him. Allan, listen, I love you.
俺もだよ。好きだ。
Are you happy being with me?
もちろん。君は？
Obviously, I can't imagine being happier.
後悔はしてない。
Why would I? But do you?
するわけない。俺は今最高に幸せだよ。
Probably not happier than you've ever been. I think your time as an angel was happier, but at least she's not disappearing, right? Then, could you kiss me?
俺が今しようと思ったところだよ。
I want to see her in demon form. He leaned in and kissed me as gently as ever. Is that all? I smiled at him, hoping that would prompt him. I felt a spark light in his heart. Oh my.
そんな挑発してただで済むと思ってるのか？
That's quite the revealing outfit she's got on there. Oh my goodness. I don't think I could use the CG on YouTube. And what are you going to do to me? I smiled at him, plain innocent. He stroked my leg.
散々体に覚えさせただろ。
I've been practicing. Two demons seducing each other, huh? He smiled, showing his fangs, the smile of a demon. I think maybe I forgot. Could you show me again? My stomach was full of dreams, but my body was still hungry. What happened in the dream was nothing like what happened in real life. You taught me about this, Allan, so you have to show me. I smiled like the demon I was. Allan stared deep into me and bit into my lip.
本当に悪い子だ。上出来だよ。
They've become a bad pair. We bite into each other, our tongues intertwine. I need more than fingers, I search. Demons are indeed greedy, but despite our greed, we don't need anything more than each other. This moment is meant for couples. We were once two angels divided. Our connection is deeper than anyone's in the world. Allan, I love you.
リネット。
A kiss that melts like honey. We bite and scratch at each other's shoulders. Oh my goodness. I show my throat to him. He looks up to the moon in the sky. Her little wing is so cute. It's so tiny. Okay, no. Okay, never mind. That's the corner of the wing. I thought it was just a little tiny wing. I was like... Have you heard the tale about the lover in Lost York who has a perfect dream? When you have that dream, you see a demon that comes to kiss you. Anyway, that's just a rumor people have been hearing in the subway. Together, we became a legend. Hey, do you think we'll become a legend together someday? An ex-Cupid and an ex-angel who fell and became demons. Fallen, violated, adored, immolated. We'll sprinkle our fragrance like a ripened fruit. Allan, more.
欲
Oh
張
my
りだね。
goodness.
いいよ。ほら、捕まって。君がお望みならどこまでも。俺が落としてやるよ。
See, I feel like I'm dreaming again. Dreams are supposed to be happy, right? So give me another delicious dream. I shake off my one remaining wing and gaze up at the twinkling stars. Did she lose a wing too, or did she just... I don't think... Maybe she didn't have wings. I think she just grew a wing. Maybe. I don't know. I've fallen and maybe I'm filthy, but that's not enough to be apart from him. Our happiness is enough to keep us together for all time. I entrust myself to our delight in the moment and sink my nails into his back. Oh my goodness. Yeah, maybe I consider that a bad ending. I mean, now she's like, I don't know, worse than what Allan ever was. Because she's enjoying what she does. Brought Allan down to her level. Well, that's the end of all of Allan's endings. I think it's funny that they ended all in best love match. I think Allan was the true root of this because I don't know, they've been together for 400 years. They were destined to be together from the beginning. And I think Idea Factory always kind of has like a true root in their games. It's usually locked to the very end, so the fact that you can play Allan, I think you could play Allan like second or third. Even if I could play him that early, seeing it now, I wouldn't want to because this feels like the end of the game. She's finally returned to her separated other half after all these years, and they're finally together, whether it's, you know, as demons or as angels. I had to turn on the volume so I can actually talk because it keeps going to the song and everything, and I don't like that. But yeah, at least they got to be angels in one of the good endings, right? Even if it was really brief, and it was just really Jupiter talking about them. They didn't get to. Well, I guess they couldn't have any conversations. They can't talk, but you could have heard their thoughts maybe. But whatever. I have to go get my daughter, so I can't record the common root endings until I get back, which is unfortunate because I have to go and do my daughter's hair for her band performance at the football game tonight, and then I'll come back and I'll be able to finish the rest of them. The football game's not going to end until like 10 o'clock, but yeah, so I'm going to pause right here and then pick up when I come back, but you guys won't notice a difference because I'm just going to be in one video anyway, so. Okay, well, my husband came home and I can't record when he's home, so I think the common root ending is just going to be in a separate video. There's 3 of them, hopefully it at least equals 30 minutes. It probably will because I have to go through a lot of choices anyway. I'll be skipping through the choices, but I'll still be going through the choices to get there. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this, drop a like down below and or subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.